YouTube. We're out here at the goat pasture today. It's a little blustery, a little windy today, so I apologize if our sound isn't as good as it could be. But we're out here with our stocker goats and sheep today. It's been a while since we've reported on this project, if you will, and just wanted to give everybody out there an update. I have to start off by saying it's been a little bit painful. We've had some animal health issues. We've had a little bit of fencing issues. We had a small amount of predation issues. I'll kind of go through and talk about some of that. I'm not to the point where we thought it was a complete failure yet, but like I said, it's not been something we would like to repeat. On our animal health side, we had roughly 11% death loss on the animal health side, so that's been unfortunate. We assigned a lot of that due to castrating these billy kids 24 hours after we got them off the truck. Looking back, we probably should have just gone ahead and processed them like we did, vaccinate, worm and whatnot, but held off on the castration. We think it was just too much of a stress from buying those things at the sale barn and having them run through there and the trailering and a foreign environment and all that, to add on the castration on top of that. I think it was just too much. For those out there that hadn't watched the first one of our first couple videos on this, we did ban those billy kids when they came in. We did a ban with a slit in the bottom of the scrotum. So moving on from those animal health issues, or actually I'll finish up on that. The majority, like I said, were the billy kids, and really the overall majority was certainly goats over sheep. The sheep have performed better from a health standpoint than the goats for us. Mind you, these are all hair sheep. There's no wool sheep in here, or I think -1. One snuck in there on us, but basically all hair sheep. So that probably has something to do with their hardiness. Maybe you could assign that to them, but the sheep have done well. The goats haven't done as good as far as staying alive from animal health. Furthermore, we had some issues with our fencing. We had a dry period. Let me back up. We were using this 2 strands of polywire electric fencing, rotating these animals around a crop field, and it was successful for us for the first month or so, and we were getting along okay. So it was kind of like, well, we've got this. It's going to work out. And then we got a little dry. Our soil dried out, and basically we figured out our grounding system was adequate when we had some good soil moisture, but then when we dried out, we were just right there, maybe on the cusp, and we just lost some voltage in our fence, and it wasn't staying hot, and then we had some goats get out. And in that time period of that happening, those goats were getting out on a regular basis over a course of about 5 to 6 days before we were really able to nail it down. But during that course of time, those goats and sheep got strung out over a wide area. They didn't stay condensed, which is something that's necessary predator control. If those animals stay bunched up together, the guard dogs, it's very easy for them to do their jobs, etc. And then if they get spread out over a bigger area, that becomes more difficult. We are in a pretty predator heavy area for our part of the world, and so when those animals started getting stretched out like that, predators came in on some of those outliers on that very edge and picked some of them off. Then in doing that, because those animals were getting tortured a little bit by the predators, getting ran around, we did have some get out on us and venture across onto the neighbors. Pretty rough and rugged place, very brushy, very steep and hilly. A place that those animals would go if they were being picked on, and so to go hide out. So anyhow, we had loss from animal health, we had a small amount of predation loss, and then we had some walk off that we haven't been able to locate. So all in all, we're at about a 20% death loss on this project, which is pretty significant. I'm sure there's people watching this that are laughing a little bit, and we knew this was going to be an experiment. We knew it was going to be a little rough. We didn't expect it to be that bad. However, to visit some of the positives instead of just hanging on all the negatives, the rotation of the crops has worked really good. You might be able to turn around and see what we've got here that these animals are grazing on. We just turned them into this morning, so this stand looks pretty good. And if our cameraman will roll around to the back and see where we just came from, you see how they've picked that down, and you might even be able to see that lighter green, that brighter green. That's where we just were probably 10 days ago. And you can see that that's already putting on quite a bit of leaf. I mean, here we are, it's the middle to end of October, and we're still out there growing that forage on a warm season annual. So I think that's pretty neat as far as being able to effectively graze this and regrow some forage right behind those animals to come back to again. So that's all still a liquid situation and continuing, but that part of it's been good. The body condition on our animals has been great. You know, we're not supplementing, we're not adding any kind of grains or any kind of additional feed. It's strictly what's growing out of the ground. For what that is, they look really good, really healthy. We've got some rams turned in with these ewes and got some billies turned in with these nannies. Those male animals are working in the last 10 days or so, getting after these girls and getting them bred. So I think things are clicking along on all those fronts. With all that said, folks, we're gonna get back here to what we're doing. I'm looking forward to the next video, and we'll try to keep you guys updated. Talk to you later. Bye now.